Coming to you, Shweta, and you represent the entertainment industry as such, and we've had a panel in the morning that talked about the representation in media and entertainment. I also wanted to get your thoughts on how media and entertainment can help normalize, for the lack of a better word,
Right.
but mainstream representation of persons with disabilities.
Right. So we're all living in the digital age, right? And everything is more accessible information, media, entertainment. And social media is a huge part of our lives and we cannot not talk about it. But I'll come to that later. So I think I would want to divide this into traditional media and social media. And in traditional media, we have publications, newspapers, and then we have television. And I think this is a system where one person talks about the other person. So when you're talking about somebody, I think it's extremely important. I'll just give a very small example before this, okay? And I don't know. Actually, I'm saying this for the first time on a public platform, and tell me if you all agree with me or not. I spell my name as Sweta, and I have to mention this. And I have recently also changed my surname to Mantrii. Okay? So when I am saying this to somebody, and I'm saying this repeatedly, once, twice, thrice, and the person still writes Sweta, I think they are dishonoring me, and I think they are dishonoring the way I want to be addressed or perceived. This is a very small example. So similarly, in the case of disability, it's just unfair when you want to cover disability from your understanding, from your perception, without knowing the real story of a disabled person and how they want to be portrayed. I have told multiple times in an interview that please don't call me inspiring. I don't want to be called inspiring. I don't want to inspire because I am tired of inspiring. What I need is just to be included. But people want more clicks on their articles. They want more clicks on their videos. They're like, oh my God, Shweta Mantri, inspiring, overcoming obstacles for 30 years. And I'm like, I'm not over. No, there was one LinkedIn article said Shweta Mantri overcoming her disability for 30 years. I am not overcoming my disability. I am living with it. And I'm cool with it, absolutely. Okay, so I am overcoming obstacles in that too because no one's helping me dissolve them. But there's nothing called as overcoming disability. So I think in the case of traditional media, go beyond the lens of inspiration and sympathy. I think I have explained earlier that if you're sympathizing with somebody, feel bad with them if at all you have to, only because you have more access than them. And I would want to explain over here that why I don't personally like the term inspiring. I don't know how many of y'all are acquainted with this, but there's this term called inspiration porn, where a so-called normal person derives gratification by being inspired from by a disabled person, and they feel good about their lives. It's almost like, oh my God, she can, so why can't you? Haven't we heard that in the media? But I feel like that's just so wrong. And also, when you're saying that I'm inspiring you, which means you're again implying that I'm strong for doing X, Y, Z, where I should not have to do X, Y, Z. I should have the same tools to lead a so-called smooth or normal life that you do, which is why I personally don't like to be perceived at from the lens of sympathy and inspiration. And again, if you want to cover authentic stories, know the real deal. Know what bothers them about being disabled or what bothers them about disability not being accepted in the society, how their parents talk to them, were they able to get admission in the school they wanted to, how do they get to college, what obstacles are they experiencing for marriage. Talk about these things and cover these stories because, I mean, there is a spectrum, right? So, of course, there are so many people who want to inspire, and that's great. But some people also want to share their real stories. So, that. And secondly, in terms of social media, I think most disabled people that I know who are also advocates, we share a lot of real stuff. Like I go to a place and there is no ramp, I talk about it. I get rejected by a guy on matrimony site, I talk about it. Someone tells me, live like a disabled person, I talk about it. I have people who have unfollowed me because, oh my God, ये लड़की बहुत bad trip देती है. Sorry, but if you can crib about traffic, why can't I crib about inaccessibility? It's as simple as that. You have all the means and privilege to live a decent life. I'm not saying your life is the best, but come on, your life is better because you fit into a particular body type that the world is made for, and I am not. So if you can crib about traffic, sorry, I am going to crib about not having a ramp every damn day of my life. So that's about it. So if you want, again, on social media, if you want to be an ally, follow disabled people. Don't unfollow them because they talk about the real deal. You might be uncomfortable in the beginning, but stay there for the journey. There are so many national and international advocates who talk about their lives and who have made a huge difference in the world that we live in. Follow disabled people and encourage your friends to follow them also, and learn from them, or I would say unlearn from them. Unlearn from them, know what is wrong with the mindset that you have, how can you change that, how can your mindset help break barriers outside in the world and help us to lead a barrier-free life, be it psychologically or physically. And just quickly touching upon the other media, which is the audiovisual media, movies and television. I think Richa rightly spoke about sex education, where there's this scene where Isaac, who's a wheelchair user, he protests about not having a lift, and he's like, and I think the management obviously had a very condescending response, ki, it's okay, we'll fix it. But he's like, why haven't you fixed it? Why do I have to worry about and this happens with me also, I'll come to it. He mentions that I have an exam to give, I have a paper to give, I have to remember my stuff. Instead of that, I am focusing on how to get to the examination hall. And so is the case with me as a stand-up comedian. I have to first call up and ask, kitne steps hai, washroom hai ki nahi. As I'm supposed to concentrate on my set and my jokes, and here I am just being anxious about inaccessibility, right? So, yeah, so that is the right kind of representation we want in movies. There's something called as, in terms of, there are a lot of disabled characters that are used for comedic timing in movies. So there's something called as punch-up comedy and something called as punch-down comedy. Punch-up comedy is when you make fun of the oppressor, of somebody who is in a better position than a disabled person. And a punch-down comedy is when you make fun of a disabled person. When I do it, I think it's okay. When any disabled person does it, it's okay because it's their consent, it's their life. But Tushar Kapoor being used as a comedic relief in movies is something that I personally don't agree with. I think, and that's also the case with, fat women. We had these typical jokes on fat women when they enter the frame, and they're never seen as the girl who is a good person who can be desired. And so it's always she's made fun of and she's going to generate laughter, right? So don't use disabled people as comedic relief. And if you want to present both the sides of the stories, don't just leave us at that. We are people with emotions and with fulfilling lives. So go out there and present the entire spectrum, as opposed to just one thing. So that's about it. Thank you.